Hello everyone, I'm Reiki Master Sharon, and thank you for joining me today for Saturn Day Sabbath. In this week's episode, I'd like to talk a little bit about the concept of guilt and shame. And this is a very important concept to me because I feel like when we hold on to these things, it really holds us back from our true growth and healing. And there has to be a sense of acknowledgement and accountability, but also identifying that sometimes we make a mistake and that was something that we did that didn't align with us in the moment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is part of our identity or that it makes us a bad person. And I think this is a huge thing for us to recognize, because when we're trying to cultivate healthy relationships with other people in our lives, especially our families and people who are close and love us, if we do something that hurts them and we can't reflect on how that may have hurt them, and we don't acknowledge that maybe something that we did hurt them, then it's very hard to move forward in that dynamic when we can't take accountability for the fact that maybe someone experienced something in a different way than we did. Because there are a lot of times where I may experience something much differently than you experienced it. And that doesn't make you or me right or wrong. It just means we're coming at it from a different perspective, a different mindset. And sometimes when we have mindsets where, okay, so I'm going to phrase it this way. If you're looking for a red car, you're going to find a red car and you're going to see lots and lots of red cars. And then if you decide that you're going to look for a yellow car, you may see more yellow cars. So if your mind is telling you, nobody likes me, I don't have any support in my family, or, people are just like putting up with me just for the sake of putting up with me because they're my family, then you're going to look for that in every transaction that you have with other people in your family. And then as soon as you see that, you're going to hold on to it and you're going to be like, yep, see, I told you. It's not necessarily a self-fulfilling prophecy, but you're cultivating that perception into your reality and you're experiencing it that way. Now, if you change that dynamic and decided to say, you know what, my family loves me and they support me and they love me unconditionally no matter what, and you go into your family dynamics with that mindset and you start looking for those things, you're going to see them more often. So we can have a choice of how we want to look at things and how we're going to experience that in our physical reality. And, it doesn't mean that if you do something that hurts somebody that you are a horrible person. It means that maybe you could have done it in a better way. Maybe that person is experiencing it in that way because of a wound that they have. And can you hold compassion for that? Can you look at that and say, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way and that hurt you, but that is not how I really feel towards you or how I would like things to be with us. But there has to be a way where we can get over that ego and actually connect with each other in a way where we can be vulnerable and say, when you do this, this hurts me. Or when you don't do this, I feel abandoned. Because at the end of the day, we're not all mind readers and we don't know what you're experiencing yourself. And a lot of times what we do is we tell other people how we're feeling, but not the person who's actually hurt us, because we already feel hurt and abandoned by that person. So by going out of our way to say it, we're putting ourselves in a more vulnerable position. But that opportunity, it gives an opportunity to have that person actually see what you're experiencing, so that they can reevaluate things that they may have done or said, or how they may have acted for you to perceive it in that way. And if we can really be honest with each other and ourselves, and really think about the narratives that we have in our mind and see if they're actually true, or if it's just something that we're looking for, I think we might have healthier family dynamics with each other. Because I have some people in my family who, they have done things that, that have hurt, and I have brought it up to them, and they don't ever say sorry or acknowledge that what they did hurts. And it's really hard to move past that when you don't have that acknowledgement, because your feelings do matter, and the person that hurt you matters, right? So, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I feel a lot of energy through this. I know this is a very powerful transmission that's coming in for a lot of people. So, with that being said, there has to be acknowledgement. There has to be some kind of resolution that we can come to if we can listen without pushing the blame towards someone else. Because at the end of the day, it's not about if you're right or I'm wrong, or if I hurt you more than you hurt me, or I hurt you more than you get what I'm saying. It doesn't matter who's hurt whom more. It's about how are we going to communicate with each other so that we're not hurting each other anymore moving forward, right? That is what we need to be focusing on, because that is how we're going to find resolutions, and that is how we're going to learn how to love each other in a way that we need to be loved, because the way that I need to be loved is a lot different than the way you need to be loved. I may need a lot of reassurance, and you may need a lot of space. But until we find a way to communicate that with each other, you could feel very smothered by me trying to love you the way that I want to be loved, and I can feel very abandoned by you loving me the way that you want to be loved. So in this way, we have to find a balance and do our best to show up for the people that we love the way that they need us to. So if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm a little emotional in this one, but thank you so much for being here, and I'd love for you to join me next week for Saturn Day Sabbath. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.